Showtime with Coop is brought to you by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.
Welcome to another edition of Showtime with Coop. Insightful BS with my Laker teammates and NBA legends around the league, as well as in the entertainment business. But today I thought I'd have a beautiful flashback and bring in one of my favorite teammates and most funniest teammate and most sometimes incorrect teammate, and a teammate that got knocked out by one of our other teammates, the incomparable Mychal Thompson. MT, how you doing?
You forgot best looking teammate.
Okay, best looking teammate. MT, let's get right to it, man. We're not going to beat around the bush. I got a couple of topics I want to talk to you about and get your insight. And the reason why I'm wearing this Showtime, if you can see it, because it's all white, my Showtime t-shirt that we got when we had our Showtime reunion a few years back, is it makes it easy to kind of deal with this Laker team this year. But you know what, Mike? I was very proud of the team, first of all. I thought JJ Redick, again, he was scrutinized so harshly, and toward the end of the season came into being one of the nominees for Coach of the Year. And it's unfortunate that the team had an early exit, but I saw a lot of bright spots about this team. Your thoughts?
Well, you asked me how I'm doing. First you say how I'm doing. I should be in Minneapolis right now. I thought we were going to be getting ready for Game 6. I am shocked that I am at home and the season is done. But as far as this team is concerned, I'm highly disappointed. You don't have Luka Doncic, LeBron James on a team and don't get to at least to the West Finals, Coop. You got to get to the West Finals, but you have two of the top 10 players in the game on your team. So this is extremely disappointing. They got knocked out in the first round against the Wolves. Now, the Wolves are a good team. I'm not trying to disparage them, but I expected this team to, I thought, beat Minnesota, beat Golden State in the second round because the Warriors will take care of the Rockets tonight. And I figured we would be ready to play Oklahoma City. It'd be a tough series to get through the finals, but I thought we'd see Oklahoma City in the finals. So I am shocked that we are sitting at home today.
Well, I'm shocked too, but you know what? After that first game when Minnesota came in, I knew they had a tiger by the tail. And once the Lakers blew them out in game 2, I was like, okay, maybe the ship is being rightened. But you know what, Mike, and I said this probably about with 10 games, 15 games left in the season, the Lakers were playing defense, but they weren't playing the kind of defense that you need to get ready for in the playoffs. And I think that showed. The first game, Minnesota came in there and took it to them. So I thought a big part of their problem was defense.
That's just the problem. After they traded Anthony Davis, they had the number 1 rated defense for like 6 weeks. So they showed that for over a period of time, a consistent period of time, they can play defense. They could play defense. And then the last couple of weeks of the season, they got away from it. So that's what's so shocking and disappointing about this season, because after they traded arguably the best two-way player in the game, as far as big men are concerned, Anthony Davis, their defense improved. Then what happened? All of a sudden, they forget how to play defense. The first game, like you said, against the Wolves, they come out and it looks soft. They even said it. They weren't prepared mentally. How does that happen in the first game in the playoffs against a good team like Minnesota with a dangerous player like Anthony Edwards? And you're not prepared. You played on the Showtime Lakers. I played against you when you're on the Showtime Lakers. Were you guys ever not prepared for opening night for a playoff game? That team that you were on, were you ever unprepared or not ready mentally?
Well, you know what? We had a great coach in Coach Riley who got us prepared. But I think in ourselves, those 12 players, 15 players, we knew what was expected of us. And I think, you know what, MT, I think they underestimated, overlooked, took for granted that Minnesota team. I really did, because they were playing great basketball you can say the last 7 games of the season going into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a fatal mistake, obviously, to overlook Minnesota when they obviously have Julius Randle, McDaniels, and Anthony Edwards, and sometimes Rudy Gobert, who showed you he can dominate at times, and to overlook a team like that. No, I can see if you're overlooking a play-in team that barely got there, but not a team that you won one more game than. Yeah, this Laker team was good, but they weren't the Showtime Lakers. They weren't Kobe Shaq Lakers who can afford to take teams lightly. So that's what's so shocking and surprising to me, that if you said they overlooked Minnesota, how they can make that fatal flaw, especially a leader like LeBron James, who's been there, done that over and over again. You would think a leader like him who we had great leaders in yourself and, of course, Magic and Pat Riley, you think LeBron would have these guys all mentally focused in and dialed in and say, hey, boys, this is a whole different animal now. You got to be ready from game one. And to not see that, I was like, what's going on? How do you not be prepared for this?
Last topic on this here, as far as the Lakers, do you say it was right or wrong in that fourth game for him to play the starters the whole entire second half? And before you answer, let me give you my answer. As a coach, and I've been in them situations both on the WNBA side, up in Denver when I was interim coach for a moment. We were trying to stay alive right before the All-Star break. We were playing San Antonio Spurs when they had Tim Duncan and that powerhouse team. And I played Carmelo, Andre Miller, Earl Boykins. I played them the whole entire second half, and we were very fortunate that we lost that game by 1 point. So I can see where Coach Redick was thinking. You know, you got to go with your horses, and if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down with my horses. Your thoughts?
Yeah, in real time, John Ireland was talking about that on the radio broadcast. They had not made a substitution in the third quarter, and I know I mentioned that with Ireland. Said, "Geez, John, LeBron and Luka played the whole quarter. They usually come out at a certain time." I said, "But they played the whole 12 minutes," and I said, "I think JJ's going to play in the whole 12 minutes in the fourth quarter too, because they seem to be on a roll. They're on a rhythm." And Ireland says, "Well, what about fatigue? When they get tired?" I said, "Look at their body language. They don't look tired. They weren't breathing heavily." Plus the timeouts are like 5 minutes long, as you know, in the playoff time. So you get a chance to recover and rest on the bench during the timeout. Plus there are call reviews that also take some time. So you have time to recover, to catch your breath. And I kept telling Ireland, no, 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game, 6 minutes to go in the game. They don't look tired. They're still playing with energy. They have a 10-point lead. They're doing great. And before that, the bench was doing nothing. The bench had not shown up yet. They didn't show up in game 5 either. They had like 4 points from the bench. So the bench wasn't giving JJ Redick any production. Didn't even though they played decently during the season, but for some reason they disappeared in this series. And so since the bench was giving him nothing and the starters were rolling, 10-point lead, 8-point lead, and they were holding that lead for the most part until about the last minute, I said, no, leave them in. Yes, this is kind of strange, unprecedented. I don't remember ever seeing this before in the playoffs where the starters played the whole 24 minutes in the second half. But I said, it's working. They don't look like they're exhausted, so leave them. I would leave them in too, because they're in a rhythm. They have the lead. They're controlling the game. And, of course, they collapse in the last 90 seconds.
Well, you know what? The season's over with, and there's a lot of if I coulda, woulda, shoulda throughout those actually, at the beginning of the playoff, all the way for the 5 games that they lasted. But now that the season's over with, what adjustments, what changes, what do you think the Lakers need to do?
Well, they said they need a center. But where are you going to find those guys? They're not walking around on Figueroa. You can't go outside. Hey, man, you want to play for the Lakers? Ain't no Kareems out there. Ain't no David Robinsons or Patrick Ewings.
And no Mychal Thompsons.
I'm only 6'9". They probably talk 27 feet or something like that. Basically, they say they need someone like a Mark Williams, just a big guy who can protect the rim. But where are you going to find them unless you're willing to trade somebody like an Austin Reeves or a Dalton Connect, of course, to break up the core, maybe an Austin Reeves, but I don't know where you go out and find a Bam Adebayo or something like that. They're not giving them up. These centers today are so valuable when you have a guy with good size. Now you can go out and sign some backup who's a free agent. I guess you can do that just to put a big body in the middle. But to say, yeah, we need to go out and get a center. Anybody who has a solid center is not going to give them up for what the Lakers have to offer.
Well, you know what? I don't think they have to offer anything. I think you go overseas. That's where you got these scouts that you pay, and the guys you got looking. Those guys got to do their job now. They got to go overseas, find someone. And again, in today's game, the offensive minded. I mean, look at Rudy Gobert. Okay, his last game, all Rudy's shots came off for dunks, offensive rebounds. So you don't have to have that massive 6'10" guy that they thought. Look at Edie in Memphis. Very, very efficient player, and he's not a go-to center. I just think they have to find a big body in there. For me, mainly defensively, somebody that can block shots, rebound, run the court. I think that they'll be all right. I think the changes are not drastic. I don't think they have to trade anybody. I think they just have to do their due diligence and go out and find somebody. And there are players out there without having to look at other teams, but there's somebody that can come in and help the Lakers. I think it's an overseas player that you have to kind of look for.
Yeah. The Houston Rockets, they picked up Steven Adams basically off the scrap heap, and he's doing a decent job down in Houston, backing up Sengun. But yeah, you can go get a player like that. This is a serviceable center who can just take up some space. But hey, they had They had Jackson Hayes 7 feet. They had Alex Len 7'1". They had Koloko 7 feet, but they chose not to use him.
Yeah, well, that's the coach's decision. And again, though, but the future looks bright for me for the Lakers. Uh, the next thing I said, the last question about the Lakers is LeBron. Is he coming back another year? Before you answer, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, because LeBron is about first. He's about breaking records and he's about setting the standards. He's about pushing everything up. So nobody, it'll be another 50 years before anybody break it. I think he comes back for his 23rd season. That'll be a record. No player's ever done that. And the guy looks fucking good, man. I mean, he's playing at a high level, but you definitely have to surround him with some youth.
Yeah, he's definitely going to come back. He's going to be 41 in December. But like you said, even at 40, he's playing at an all NBA level. I mean, we've never seen, obviously we with Kareem. Kareem played till he was 42. Robert Parrish played till he was 42. Kevin Willis, 42. But they were basically role players at that time. LeBron is still an all NBA player. 41 years of age, he'll be back. He's going to make about $55 million. That's number two. And number three, I'm sure he wants to play with Bronny again next year. I think Bronny will have an expanded role after going through his rookie year. Maybe his game will improve over the summer, and he can get more of a backup role for the Lakers, and that'll make LeBron even more energized to come back. So he's definitely coming back. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays 2 more years, Coop, at the level he's playing at. Why not? Let's say if he comes back next year and wants to play another year, okay, maybe he won't average 25 a game. I bet you he can still average 20 at 41, 42 years of age. That's how great he is.
What's his legacy?
Well, arguably one of the greatest ever, maybe the greatest ever. He's in the conversation. Him, there are 4 guys in the conversation, maybe 5, if you want to talk about who's the greatest player ever. But he's definitely, his legacy is he the greatest player ever, along with Jordan? Or is it Kareem? Or is it Wilt? How do we forget about Wilt Chamberlain? And, of course, Bill Russell. Bill Russell only won 11 times in 13 years and put up monstrous numbers. So I think LeBron, you know, a lot of people, maybe yourself included, might say Jordan's the greatest. You played against Jordan. You know how great he was. I played against Kareem. Head up. I know how great he was. For me, Kareem's the greatest player ever. But a lot of people will say it's LeBron. A lot of people say it's Jordan. Some people will even throw Kobe's name in there. But LeBron, his legacy is obviously NBA champion and arguably greatest player ever.
Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you really want. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and so much more. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in flavor with none of the fuss. So get started at factormeals.com/boomertakes50off and use code boomertakes50off to get 50% off free shipping on your first box. That's code boomertakes50off at factormeals.com/boomertakes50off for 50% off plus free shipping.